Right then, hello there, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you, yes you, happen to be. My name is Paul, I'm also called Knack. I'm the brains behind Knack's Old Peculiar, the world's most incredibly boring repetitive blog. I'm also the man behind Knack's Daily Teaser, which is a set of hopefully fun and enjoyable daily brain teaser quizzes. I talk about movies I've seen, and when I get a chance or get some time, I want to try watching a few things. Threads still looks interesting, but that's possibly something for another time. Either way, I usually also watch TV, and I try and watch shows I think I will like, and that if I think they're worth me telling you about, I will tell you about them. Paramount makes some of the stuff I've been enjoying just recently, including Series 2 of Strange New Worlds, which is something I've been watching over the past few weeks. Bless them, I usually watch it on a Friday afternoon and then tell you about the episode on a Saturday, except of course Paramount have decided to throw everybody's schedule out of the water and, bless them, decided to air Episode 7, Those Old Scientists, Saturday night. That's when they published it. I caught it on Saturday, and I thought you should know what I thought about those old scientists. Episode 7, Those Old Scientists, opens with the usual summary of earlier episodes, and then shifts to the early 24th to show us Ensigns Boimler, Mariner, Tendi, and Rutherford, Jack Quaid, Tawny Newsome, Noel Wells, and Eugene Cadero of the USS Cerritos as they head off to explore an ancient time portal on the planet Krolmuth B. A portal Boimler claims was originally discovered by the crew of the USS Enterprise under Captain Pike, but that Ensign Tendi claims was discovered by the Orion science ship her great-grandmother served on at about the same sort of time. It's only when Rutherford takes a photo of Boimler that the latter ends up getting sucked viciously and suddenly through this time portal and landing 120 or so years earlier at the feet of number 1, Lieutenant Spock, and Security Chief Noonien Singh, Rebecca Romaine, Ethan Peck, and Christina Chong. Ensign Boimler isn't the only one to realise he's got problems. Post-animated titles. Yes, the titles this week are animated. Post-animated titles. We find Boimler coming around in the sickbay of the USS Enterprise and immediately assuming that he's on the holodeck of the Cerritos, only to find he ain't. And yes, that is the real Captain Pike, Anson Mount, that he's poking, and yes, the captain knows that he, Boimler, is a time traveller. All Captain Pike and his crew need to do is work out how to get Boimler back to the future before he spoils the timeline by opening his mouth. Again. Now, what did I think of those old scientists? What did I think? Were there details I noticed? Something I should tell you about? Any questions? Let's get started with something I should tell you and get it out of the way, shall I? That thing is simple, in case you didn't know, that the two guest characters in Those Old Scientists this week's episodes are Ensigns Brad Boimler and Beckett Mariner of the USS Cerritos. The characters are played by Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsome. Quaid and Newsome usually voice Boimler and Mariner in Star Trek's Lower Decks. As of the time of recording, it's one of two of Paramount's animated Star Trek series. The other one is the now sadly axed Star Trek Prodigy. I usually don't review either of those animated series, but that doesn't mean I don't watch them. I'm not usually one for animations, but I should stress I watch Lower Decks in particular because it's usually quite funny. Especially if you like things like Family Guy or American Dad. The show's witty, anarchic, very humorous, very fast, and definitely ones for the fans. So I should maybe say it's like a geeky version of American Dad or Family Guy. You take my point, I hope. That said and out of the way, minor details. There's Possibly a lot of them, but the two that struck me, the first one was the koala in the opening credits for the episode. There's a koala in the opening credits. Why there's a koala in the opening credits, I do not know, but there is a koala in the opening credits. When I work out why, I will let you know. Koalas. At any rate, there's also Boimler's hair. The makeup designers, the hair people, they've got his hair right, or at least as right as possible when you're making the switch from animated to live action. The animated version of the character, just in case you haven't seen it, has got hair that shades, various shades, subtly different shades of extremely dark blue. I believe that it is that colour for the same reason that Judge Dredd has a uniform that's usually shown as various shades of dark blue, and why Batman's batsuit is dark blue. They're all three supposed to be black. The batsuit, Dredd's outfit, Boimler's hair, they're all supposed to be black. It's just easier to show them as various shades of very dark blue, to show you reflections, what angle the character's standing up, where they're looking at. They can introduce shades of light and dark to show you what their pose is. It's possibly less necessary in an animated series, but that's why I think they've done it. Giving him blue hair specifically in the animated series, I should stress here, that does the same thing. It lets the animators, let's face it, they may be doing it digitally and it may be moving pictures, but it's the same thing as a comic book. It lets them show light and colour and reflection and movement. Mariner's hair, it's the same thing, except her, it's various shades of dark brown. She doesn't have black hair, it's dark brown. The same applies to the Cerritos versions of Starfleet's uniform. The shoulder sections are black, but the animators again are showing movement by showing them as various shades of grey, dark grey, light grey, where the light's shining, and they have white piping around them. Again, I think for the same reason, to show you how the shoulders are moving when they're moving about. The thing that struck me, and the reason I noticed, and the reason for, let's admit it, frankly, the reason for all of this bloody waffle was that someone, somewhere, from what I could see, made sure Jack Quaid's live-action version of his character had blue-tinged hair. Frankly, I felt that was wonderful to see and entirely appropriate for the episode. Now, I have to admit, I'm usually not necessarily fond of Star Trek's more comedic episodes. Charades in this season hasn't necessarily been my favourite episode of the season. Nor was the classic series a piece of the action, now I think about it. Gangsters in Star Trek, it's not quite the usual thing I was expecting. Saying that, I may have been a little harsh when I reviewed Charades. Okay, I don't like goofball comedies, which is what it is at some times. Charades was and is both funny and well made. By contrast, Those Old Scientists is very well made and far funnier. Just having Boimler and Mariner in it, I think, added to the comedy element and much the rapid fire stuff that Lower Decks is very good at. It's literally a very good episode, from their onstage antics to the captain's birthday party at the end of the episode. It's a fun fest and one I thoroughly enjoyed. About my only issue, or here it comes, my only question, was this. Why was the episode released on the 22nd of July, 5 days earlier than advertised? I don't know, I will be honest there. I initially thought it was maybe because the episode had been leaked and Paramount wanted to prevent any spoiler issues, any sort of, ruined plot points or gossip before the episode was released. I don't know about that. I really don't know. I do know I had a brief conversation on Mastodon a day or two ago after I posted about that very thing. Why had it been released early? The only answer or post I got was from a chap or chapess called Value Subtracted, who let me know that this particular episode had streamed at this year's 2023's San Diego Comic Con, and that they felt Paramount had moved the airing to avoid any spoilers getting out. Were they right? I don't know. But to me it sounds plausible. They've shown it and thought, hello, stuff's getting loose on the net about it. We can save ourselves a few problems and release it early. I don't know if that's right, but to me it sounds quite plausible. At any rate, where does that leave me? It leaves me thinking that yes, this is a very good episode. It's funny, it's fast, it's with some great central performances as well. Tawny Newsome as Beckett Mariner does her usual sterling and anarchic job. Jack Quaid as Boimler was actually the central character of the piece. He was the sympathetic one. He was the hero of the piece, of this week's episode. He's the one to be watching. Mariner is unfortunately as competent as a character as she is, and as competent as the actress who plays her also is. She was the sidekick this week. They're usually much more of an odd couple, but this week it was Boimler in charge. Whatever else one can say about that, it leaves me looking forward to the 7th of September of this year, when the new series of Star Trek Lower Decks is due to start airing. I'm going to give that a look, as always I do. And assuming also that Paramount Plus does not release the next episode early, I am going to be watching Under the Cloak of War on the 28th of July and releasing my written and video reviews of it on Saturday the 29th. I'm looking forward to this one. It finally looks like Erica Ortegas is going to get an episode. It's going to be interesting. I will see you later this week. Take care, have fun, be good, live long and prosper, and before I forget, be seeing you.